Molly, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us tonight. I know that we all in the church were delighted when we heard you were heading off to Poland, but it did come as a bit short notice. Do you want to just tell us how that happened? How did you end up heading off to Poland this summer?
So I had not planned or even knew about this mission trip going to Poland. So at the start of the summer, I'd started looking for a job, and I had applied for a few, to just try and make a bit of money and to pass a bit of time for myself. And then one night, Mum had just come in to me and said that she saw a Facebook post about a mission trip Colin Tinsey was doing. And I immediately said no because I knew nobody and I just had never did anything like that before. So I forgot about it, and then a conversation came back up, and then we actually rang Colin that night. And immediately after the phone call, I was like, yes, I want to go, I need to go on that. And I just believe that that was God's plan, and that's how I couldn't get a job or anything.
Brilliant, Molly.
Thank you.
Well, you talk about that sudden change, that sudden desire. Why did you want to go on the trip?
As I said, it was all very spontaneous and happened very, very quickly. But one of the main reasons I wanted to go and was so excited to go was to teach the children about God and English. And just to make new Christian friends who were all the same age as me, and the fact that it was in a different country and the warm was just a bonus.
Your suntan looks lovely, Molly, so it does. So that was a success too. You said meeting the rest of the team. What was that like, meeting all of those other people for the first time?
Okay, so I literally met them like a week before I went. It was actually at a camp Colin does in Tullymore. And we had met on a Saturday night, and I wasn't too nervous because I knew they were all the same age as me, they were all Christians, and that, it wouldn't be too bad. And I'd obviously prayed about it, that the Lord would be with me. So we all sat around a campfire and just talked about what the camp would consist of and what we all would have to talk about. And then after the meeting, after we had talked about everything, I got the chance to just talk to the girls, and I was able to get their Snapchats and their numbers so that we could keep in contact. So then once we went to the airport, it was like we knew each other for ages.
Brilliant. And so you said you were chatting about what you're going to do. So what did you go out there to do then?
Okay, so there was actually two camps, the residential and the day camp. I started at the residential camp for 3 days, and then 5 of us switched with the day camp ones. So the residential camp was all very, very full on. So we got up at 7:30, then devotions at 8, the breakfast at 9, then the morning meeting was at 10 until 11, and then around 12 until 2 o'clock we did the craft, baking, life lessons, English, sports and games, and then our lunch was at 2 o'clock. And then the children have siesta, which is basically they get to sleep after they have their lunch. And that was actually a great time because we were able to swim in the lake and just chill in the sun. And we also had our daily volleyball match with the Polish, which was very, very competitive. And then we had our dinner at 7, and then more sports and games at 8 to 9, and then the night meeting at 9 to 10, and then lastly devotions at 10. And then for the day camp, it was more relaxed, and we got a wee bit of a lie-in. We got to get up at 8:30 for devotions at 9, and then we had to walk to the wee church where all the meetings and everything took place. They actually give us our breakfast at the church. So the kids came around 11 o'clock, and the morning meeting was around 11:15, 11:30 until 12 o'clock. And then it was like an English-based camp, and so we had a lot of English. It was around 12 o'clock until 1:30, 2 o'clock. And then we actually walked to a wee restaurant where we had our lunch, which was lovely. And then once we came back, we had sports and just chilled until like 5 o'clock. And then we would have the meeting, which Colin just told a wee story and did a quiz. We didn't really get to partake in it because it was an English-based camp and the children didn't really know much about God. So just give them a wee bit. So that's basically what happened. With the camps, it was all very full on at times, but yeah.
Brilliant. And what would you say for yourself? What was the hardest part for you in all that?
Oh, definitely the first time I went to stand at the front and I was going up to tell everyone how I serve God. I was absolutely mortified. I had never done anything like that before, especially in front of nobody who spoke English, which there was a translator, which was actually a good thing because then I was standing beside somebody and I didn't feel as scared. So every time I went up, it got easier and easier, obviously. But I remember just in one of our evening devotions, Colin had asked us a question. He says, "Is it a sin to worry?" And I said, "No." And he corrected me and said, "It actually is, because we're not trusting in the Lord." So then that always repeated in my head, and every time I started to worry or got a wee bit nervous or stressed out, I would then pray, and I could just feel the Lord take over, and he was able just to give me the confidence to stand up and just talk about anything that I had to say. Yeah.
And that's what brings you here tonight then, Molly.
Yes.
You couldn't say no to me after doing
I
all
couldn't.
that. And it's brilliant. God's got a great gift, and God is using you for that too. So maybe that was the hardest thing then. What would you just say the best bit of it all was?
Honestly, everything, but I'll just point out a couple. So just seeing the children at the day camp who weren't Christians or knew an awful lot about God, just seeing them singing and just getting to know the songs and the actions. And on our last meeting, they had come up beside us and stood beside us and just done their actions, and it was just honestly incredible to see. I also really enjoyed doing English with the children. I didn't think I would have enjoyed that, but it was actually really good fun, being their teacher, teaching them English, new words, how they do wee jobs in their house and just everything. And at the residential camp, all the children had obviously volunteered to come to it because they knew it was a Christian camp. And on the last meeting, Mateo, the Polish leader, had asked the children, whoever wanted to come up could come up and tell their testimony, and so many children's hands went up. It was just incredible. So some of the children went up, and it just at such a young age, standing up there by themselves, and how passionate they were just talking was just amazing. And in the Polish team we were with, there was girls my age, and I became really good friends with a girl called Anya. She's 15, and ever since I've come home, we've talked every single day. And lastly, just meeting the team and people my age who are Christians, and just the laughs I had was just amazing.
That's fantastic, Molly.
Thank you.
Last question then. How do you feel that all of this has changed you?
So since I've come home, I feel so much more positive and just a changed mindset to everything. I've listened to more Christian music as I've come home, as I used to not listen to an awful lot, but now I've found really good ones that just, uplift me and just have really good sing-along to. I pray way more, as I said before, whenever Colin had said to us about whenever you worry or anything, just always pray and just pray that to trust in the Lord. So because of that, because of the trip, I just feel that my love and appreciation for the Lord has just grew so much more, as he has done so much for us, everyone here, and he continues to do so much for us every single day.
Molly, that's just brilliant. Thank you so much. It's been great hearing from you. Is there anything else you want to just add?
Yeah, I'd just like to finish saying thank you to everyone who supported me in the team, both in your prayers and financially. It was really much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. That's brilliant. Go ahead.